everybody. Welcome to the Buckeye Weekly Podcast. I'm Tony Gerdeman, here as always with Tom Orr. Tom, how's it going?
Tony, it is time for the 25 to 46 or so most infuriating minutes of my week as Tony tries to redefine what the word bold means and usually doesn't succeed, but every once in a while, I let something slide that I shouldn't.
No, I tried to explain to you what bold is. So yes, I am redefining it for you over and over again because as the viewers know, Tom tries to toe the line, but he toes it with his heels. And it's like, well, that's not, you're way over the line. You're not even towing it. You're heeling the line. And Tom, that fits because you are the heel of this show. I am the baby face, as we all know. Did you go back and look to see how you did last week?
Well, I know that I got, let's see, I
got the shutout.
At least two. I got that Ohio State would have a shutout that they had only done once versus a Big Ten opponent since 2017. Extraordinarily bold. And also they had at least one quarter with negative yards allowed. I think we believe the second quarter Wisconsin finished with negative yardage. So that would be two for me. How many was it for you? I'm guessing zero. Your traditional zero?
No, I did have hold Wisconsin to 161 yards of total offense or less. They're at like 146. But Tom, I want you to take a look at the bonus one that you gave me.
The bonus one that I gave you that we would eat cheese curds in Wisconsin?
Yes.
Did we eat cheese curds in Wisconsin? Yes.
Now, there were cheese curds ordered, but no, they were on poutine.
And then when we stopped at the Culver's on the way out of the state of Wisconsin.
Wait. I just had a burger.
Yes, I had cheese curds.
We never had. Did you see me eat any of the cheese curds on the poutine?
Tony. You had access to it. You made a poor choice.
I'm just saying, I forget the rules on what happens when one of the bonus predictions does not hit. I'll just carry it over to this week and we'll figure it out later.
Listeners, this is what I have to deal with every week. Not only does he deny himself the delight of cheese curds, he does it to prove some kind of a stupid point and doesn't even do that. This is what, this is what I do for you. We did we're going to watch the Iowa Penn State show and we're going to do this for you. This is what I personally do for you. So you're welcome, everyone. You're welcome, America.
I abstained from the cheese curds for a stupid purpose for the people. All right. So now let's begin this show, and we will, Tom, you know what? I'm going to go first.
You've earned it.
My first 1 point prediction, it's crazy that it's only 1 point because this is something that Ohio State has not done since 1996.
Okay.
So, all right. We're already in, right?
Nobody said that, but go on.
I am predicting a second consecutive shutout of a Big Ten opponent. Only 1 point. Should be more.
Yeah, it's now they've only second consecutive shutout of a Big Ten opponent. Like half of it's already baked in. So you're just predicting the team to shut out a team. Let's be clear. Since
1996.
Yeah. Okay.
And the last time.
If I preface this with, I'm going to let you have it, will you stop talking?
No. I also want to say the last time they've done this to any opponents was 2009, just for some more clarity on the shocking nature of me only asking for 1 point here, or not even asking, getting 1 point.
So Tony picks them to shut out an opponent, which for a Big Ten opponent would only be the second time since 2017. But if you predict two shutouts in a row before the first one happens, then you get the bonus boldness for, the first one's already happened. That doesn't change the probability of the second one happening now. So no, you don't get any extra credit for that, but you do get 1 point if this happened because it's fair. We always say you never predict a team to have a shutout. And while Penn State is obviously not very good on offense right now, neither was Wisconsin last week. So it is perfectly reasonable to say, yes, 1 point for predicting a shutout.
Tom, I will remind you, unanimous preseason Big Ten favorite, Penn State. So show them some respect. They have their two running backs could end up being the all-time two leading rushers in Penn State football history. They have a receiver who lit up the scoreboards in the ACC last year.
Mm-hmm.
They have a quarterback that is from Ohio who was recruited by many programs, and they have an offensive coordinator who lit it up in the Big 12. So show a little bit more respect when I'm throwing out the word shutout. Like last week, I predict Wisconsin to be shut out. That was you. They have zero offense. They don't even have their players. They don't even have names. It just says QB 13, WR 17. Like there are no names on that team. Here, the names are many and vast and very productive in theory.
I would just like to welcome Tony back from his coma. You've missed a lot since June, but we'll get you up to speed. No problem. There's a lot. We'll talk about it off the air. So there you go. There's Tony's first one. So, all right. My first one, Tony, something that has never happened before. Julian Sayin accounts for 5 touchdowns. He's had 4 twice. He's going to do 5 on Saturday.
Yeah, we're good with this. Not nearly as much arguing as people would like. I think I predicted this last week one of the 2 weeks ago. Did not happen, but I think I also, you went with against Illinois. You went with 4 Julian Sayin touchdowns, and it didn't happen. Now you're cranking it up a notch. We'll see if it's happened. It's eventually going to happen, especially now that the Heisman race is maybe the gun has shot off, and it's like, well, hey, we've got a shot here. So yes, I agree with this one. I can't even say, but only 2 can be, like it's like there's no. 5 is 5.
I can do 4, and he'll put 17 different restrictions
correct.
on it, or I can just say 5, and we can move on with life. So let's move on with life.
I will also throw in a Julian Sayin one here, and again, I feel like this should be more than one, but it is what it is. Julian Sayin has a perfect quarter throwing the ball, and I don't know that he's done that yet. I'm sure he's come close, obviously. But no incompletions in a quarter for Julian Sayin.
I would suspect if we go back and look, he's probably done that a number of times this season.
You can't go back and look. That's the problem.
Yeah. Okay. So, listener, think at home whether a quarterback completing 80% of his passes over the course of a season is probably perfect in quarters, like at least on average once a game. I'm going to guess he's probably pretty close, and we can look this up, and if it's happened, I'll tell you what, Tony, I will go back and look this up after we're done, because this is going to take forever to find, because the box scores are stupid and a pain in the butt.
No, you need this. You might be able to find this in the Stat Broadcast live game book, live game stats. Don't look in the book.
Yes.
The game stats will break it down by quarter. Now, what I can tell you, Tom, here's I can give you his completion percentage per quarter this year. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
First quarter, 83.9. I'm sorry, 83.1. Second quarter, 74.6. Third quarter, 84.9. Fourth quarter, 75.0. So would you like to remove like the first or third quarter?
I'd love to remove the first and third quarters, yes.
No, one or the other. Or if you remove both, then the number drops to 90%.
No, that's I will tell you what. I will go back, and if he's done this on average less than what have they played? 7 games. If he's done this fewer than 5 times this season already,
okay, I think that's
I will
fair.
let you have it. If he's done this on average once a game, I get a point. How about that?
Well, I'll say if he's done this on average, you say once a game, then it needs to be like 17 of 17. Like it needs to be that's a lot for one quarter. But it needs to be at least, say, like 9.
It needs to be a top 2 percentage. It needs to be a top 2 number in terms of how many he's done per quarter.
Sure.
Okay. Great. Now I have homework. Thanks, everyone.
Well, you don't have enough to do, Tom. Unfortunately, it's a home game, so, there's no time travel lost on the road.
All right, Tony. So, do you know how many interceptions the Ohio State defense has all year long?
Let me say, I'm just going to wild guess. I'll say 3.
They have 4, Tony. Okay. They are tied for 91st in the nation with the absolute dregs of the sport. UMass, Middle Tennessee State, the Georgia Bulldogs, Kent State. I mean, the worst of the worst. 4 interceptions all year. absolute dregs of the sport. That's why, Tony, it is so shocking that they will have 2 interceptions in this one game right here.
Oh, man. I absolutely hate this one because the numbers back you up, but the situation is screaming.
Sure do, buddy. Sure do.
You've got Penn State head coach Terry Smith saying, we're going to throw the ball downfield. We're going to attack. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And it's like, only 2 interceptions, Tom. Is that not enough? But here,
I will remember both UMass and Georgia. I mean, this is the absolute worst of the worst. They'll be lucky if the bus doesn't get a speeding ticket on the way to the game.
This is one of those where I should just throw in some applause sound because there's no ability to stop it. This is one where they've not done it yet. They've not had 2 interceptions in a game yet this season, so that benefits you. Ethan Grunkmeyer, didn't he throw? He threw 2 interceptions last week as well in his lone start. Okay, so like that's like he just
but that's
did
Iowa. They only play half the sport. That doesn't count.
Can I remove somebody because he just did it last week?
No, you sure can't. But thanks for asking.
So how do we make this right? Because he just did it last week.
You just said you can't. You don't have any room to fight it. So therefore, there's really nothing to fight about.
I'm finding the room. I'm exploring the room and I'm finding fighting room. I've got elbow room because he did just do it last week. So even you, Tom, would admit that that's
that would be kind of like picking Ohio State's defense to do something that they just did last week. Like, I don't know, allow no points.
No.
Is it different? Is it because that's a different game? That's a different thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's your next one?
1996, Tom. Let me just. You got to give me. It cannot be a defensive lineman. That's the bottom of the barrel. I'm taking away. He's attacking downfield. Caden McDonald's not dropping back to center field, okay? Maybe.
Okay. It cannot be a defensive lineman, but it can be Caden McDonald.
Yes, of
course. You just said he's not dropping back to center field.
All right, 2 interceptions.
By Caden McDonald.
Can't be a D lineman except for K-Mac. Okay, that's perfect. That's the kind of negotiations the government could use. Here's one, Tom. This
shutdown. That's what this show needs. 100%. Let's make that happen. Let's come together as a nation and get a shutdown of this show.
Shutdown. All right. Whew. Let me see. Let me look real quick to see how many times this has happened. I'm just going to say it. Jeremiah Smith accounts for 2 touchdowns. That has been an acceptable bold prediction this season. I think it's happened twice, and maybe did he also rush for one while he caught one? I'm looking real quick. That was the Ohio game. So did he catch a touchdown in that one? He did. So he's done it 3 times in 7 games. But why have we allowed it?
Well, okay, because I'm too lax with you, and that ends now.
You've done this before.
Here's what I'm going to suggest. I had one written down. This was my extra one for when you fight me on something stupid.
Okay.
This was twice in Carnell Tate's career he's had more than 102 yards, and twice he's had 2 touchdowns. He does both this week. That was the extra one. Now, the reason I thought I'm not going to actually propose this initially is because one of the 2 times he did it was last week. Now, that doesn't change the fact that it hasn't happened much, but I would suggest maybe you do a, Jeremiah Smith does, has 2 touchdowns plus has his second highest receiving total of the year, something like that. And I'll do it for Carnell Tate. And then we'll.
Here's the one that I used that against Illinois, and it didn't work. So maybe you ought to let me do it again. Jeremiah Smith, 2 touchdown catches of at least 34 yards.
Yeah. If you'd like to do that, that's fine. You can do that.
Because I wasn't really listening to your other one. And I don't expect him to go for 180 some yards.
Okay. All right. So there you go.
And eventually this one's going to hit. I can feel it, man. I can feel it in my bones. This is going to hit.
All right. How about this one? Tony, do you know how many turnovers the Ohio State defense has forced this season?
I'm going to say 7.
It's 9. 9, Tony. Basically 1 per game. That's why it is so shocking that they will do 3 times that amount on Saturday and force 3 turnovers.
Boy, if you're going to double down and say they will force 2 turnovers, I was going to have to be like, on the sports betting apps, they'll like, if you do try to double
Yeah,
down, it's like they
you can't
eliminate
parlay
one.
certain things. Yeah.
Let me see here. So how many times this season, Tom, have they done 3? And how many times has Penn State given up 3 turnovers or been, they don't even have to be -3. They just have to lose 3. Let's see. Total game per game, turnover margin, fumble game. So they've gained 3 twice this year against Grambling and against Illinois. So they've done it in a quarter of their Big Ten games. Now, unfortunately, when you threw out the shutout last week, we kind of almost grandfathered in that 25% of the time is good enough to be a 1-point bold prediction.
And Penn State has only turned the ball over 7 times all season.
And how many times 3 in a game, Tom? Has it been 5 or 6?
Yes, 5 or 6 times, I think for sure. Yes, let me see.
I don't
They've
care
lost
for this one.
6 turnovers against Power 5 teams. They lost 1 against an FCS team. Well, they've only lost 3 on the road all season, so I'm going to guess the odds that those were all 3 in the same game are probably not very high.
Yeah. No, they have not lost 3 in the same game. They have, however, lost 2 in each of the past 2 games, which is concerning for somebody in a bold prediction contest like me when you go to predict 1 more turnover. Now, again, Tom, they've not done it. Ohio State has had this happen twice. I feel compelled, and angrily so, to allow this because, again, this is where you've gamed the system. And on one hand, I have to applaud you for that because we're all trying it. We're all pushing the envelope. You found a loophole here. You found a little sweet spot, your little honey hole, and you're going to go back to it. Me, I try to make this fun for everybody. You, this is always just about you. I try to make the show about the viewers and the listeners where it's you're just like, I'm going to make this about Tom. You're basically the Brian Kelly of the bold prediction contest, and everybody knows it. And when you're gone, Tom, nobody's going to say a nice word about you. So that was forced 3 turnovers?
That was forced 3 turnovers, yes. Listen, I don't care what your next one is. If I never hear you say the phrase honey hole again out loud, I'm fine with whatever your next one is. Just...
All right.
You're turning purple like Brian Kelly. So
I know.
Now who's the Brian Kelly?
Yeah, I just like to thank my family. All right. Here you go. Ohio State defensive end Caden Curry will have 3 impact plays. He had 1 last week, to give you an idea. 3. So we're talking, of course, as we always talk about this, tackle for loss, sack, pass breakup, forced fumble, fumble recovery, interception, kickoff return for a touchdown, things like that. 3 of them, Tom.
So I think, first of all, we need to define things because a sack shows up as a tackle for loss. So would that count as
just
2?
1. No,
you're just 1. Okay, so we're removing that from there. I'm just looking through to see what his production has been this year. He had 5 tackles for loss against Washington. He had 2 tackles for loss. Yes, I will allow it. It looks like
he's only 2 tackles for loss against Grambling, 5 against Washington. Everything else is 1 or half or none.
Yep. That is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, and he's
we have
a
deal. We have the honey hole deal then. Good. All right.
And he's going to have a legitimate good game. But as often happens against Penn State, Ohio State defensive ends sometimes do that.
Oh, name 1 time in the last 3 years that's happened. I bet you can't. How about this one, Tony? Max Klare, not in the entire history of Ohio State football has Max Klare had more than 63 yards of receiving in a game. However, Tony, that streak ends, shockingly, not since the Norman Conquest, Tony, has this happened. And yet on Saturday, it will happen. More than 63 yards receiving for Max Klare.
Yeah, Gosh. And he's had 67 yards receiving in the past 2 games total. I mean, no legitimate argument, but let me make an illegitimate argument. Let's go to
This argument's parents had a shotgun wedding.
I would try to take it to 71, but season high is generally good enough for a 1-pointer. So at least 64 yards. Is that what you're saying?
At least 64 yards, yes.
All right. At least 64 yards receiving for Max Klare. All right. Again, I have no good argument for that, but that has never stopped me or you before. My final 1-pointer. Carnell Tate, Ohio State wide receiver, will have 100 yards receiving in a combined 2 quarters. Now, I don't know which 2 quarters, but you're going to take his 2 best quarters. Boom, 100 yards receiving there. Most players, they need all 4 quarters. I'm saying Carnell Tate, Ohio State wide receiver, will only need 2 such quarters to get that done.
Yeah, I don't really have a great argument against that because he hasn't. I think last week he had 110 or something like that, and that was the second highest he'd ever had in his career. So you're picking him to basically have like his 3rd biggest game in just 2 quarters. I don't love it, but I don't really have an argument against it, so I'm going to have to allow it.
That's unfortunate.
All right, here's my last one. 2 different Buckeyes hit Ohio State career highs for single game rushing yardage. So the totals we're shooting for is Bo Jackson had 109, Isaiah West 55, CJ Donaldson 67, James Peoples 59, Sam Dixon 40, Julian Sayin 19. I got to tell you, I thought about this one and I'm like, I like it a lot. And then I started writing down the numbers and I was like, boy, I wish CJ Donaldson hadn't had that one big game against Texas. And boy, I wish Julian Sayin hadn't had that 19-yard run against Purdue last year that no one remembers, but that is probably going to hose me on this.
Yeah, that was like the first name I was thinking of was Julian Sayin. Like, how are you going to sneak your way onto this one? Again, can't with good conscience argue this one.
Mm-hmm.
So we will allow 2 Buckeyes at OSU career highs for single game rushing yardage.
And really, I wanted to just do an Isaiah West hits a career high, but I knew you'd fight me on that one because even though it is a career high, it's also the trend line is pretty clear there. So
yeah, you probably would have had to like double the 55 career high and then like the 32 from last week or something. Not double it, but combine his 2 games this year. But also, it's going to be fascinating to see what Isaiah West is doing this week because who knows, what kind of role he's got. All right. Okay. In that similar vein, Tom, my first 2 pointers, 2 Ohio State running backs will outrush Penn State.
2 Ohio State running backs.
And I will remind you,
will each
outrun.
Yes.
And I will remind you, Ohio State cannot run the ball this year.
Yeah, well, as I just established with my 3-pointer just a minute ago.
3?
Yeah, well, listen, we've established Ohio State can't run the ball. I just heard those words come out of your mouth. Your honey hole, if you will. No, it's people are going to be wondering, why is this show titled Buckeye 14 Bold Predictions and a Honey Hole? Well, It's a long story. Anyway, for 2 points.
Yeah.
Question is, Penn State.
Look what they rushed for last week.
Yeah.
I mean, they're running the ball.
Yes, they're running the ball. Yes. I'm going to pull up the college football nerds. I'm going to pull up the college football nerds model and just see what they sort of project.
Their season low as a team this year is 135.
Okay.
So
yeah, and their model projects about a 17% drop from that. So that would be like 110. Yeah, I mean, if 2 Ohio State running backs go over, if you said 2 Ohio State running backs go over 100, I'd probably say yeah, maybe. So yeah, I mean, I don't love this for 2, but I don't hate it. So I'm going to wait for your 3-pointer, which is
I think
even less bold.
I think having one running back outrush Penn State is worth one. So 2, I mean, generally when you double up a 1-pointer, that's often a 3.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind with the math that we work with.
Yeah. All right. So Tony, my 2-pointer, an Ohio State wide receiver has 200 yards receiving in this game. No one on the current roster has ever done it.
Yeah, this is going to be an ongoing. Yes, it's happened 6 times in the history of. Now, to be fair, it has happened a lot more frequently than something that happened in 1996. We can agree on that. It's happened. Happened in 1999 with Kenyon Rambo. Happened in 2004 with Santonio Holmes. Happened twice in 2021 with Jackson Smith and Jigba. So this thing happens a lot more frequently than something that happened in 1996, which I have for 1 point. So again, to all of the listeners and viewers, you understand what I'm dealing with. But yeah, Tom, I'll go ahead. 2 points. An Ohio State wide receiver has 200 yards receiving. Now again, if this is Max Klare, he is a tight end. You cannot double dip, as you know, because we have said an Ohio State wide receiver.
I did say that, yes. We've been doing these shows for 4, 5, maybe more years now. I am still genuinely baffled whether you're playing stupid with some of this stuff or not playing with some of it, because it's like I feel like this thing's already happened halfway is sort of self-explanatory, but maybe not. Maybe it's...
Tom, is halfway the whole way?
All right, not playing. All right, let's go to your 3-pointer.
You know how you always dismiss me when I say, and remember, we round up? How do you like me now?
Not much. Thanks for asking. Your 3-pointer.
220.
Now, typically, this is viewed as a 1-pointer.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time it happened for an Ohio State football team?
Well, let me get that for you here. And then we'll also look to see the last time it happened in the Big Ten. It has not happened.
I got to tell you, there's a scenario where you have 2 Ohio State running backs run for 115 yards, and they both outrush Penn State, and they also hit 220, and you have 7 points this week.
Now, I will say, they did it against Grambling in Ohio. They have not come close, obviously, in a Big Ten game. And let's see, just going through last year, they did not do it in the Big Ten. They did it against Western Michigan and Marshall. Now we would agree Penn State's defense is better than those. Did they do it in 2023? No, not at all, not a single time. 2022, did they do it? They did it against Wisconsin, 258, 281. They also did it against Indiana, 340, 322. And November 12th of 2022 was the last time they did it, and that was Indiana.
So my concern is that I just watched them give up just an enormous amount, 245 yards of rushing to Iowa.
Yes, but how many passing yards?
Yeah, well, 68, which with the Iowa conversion rate works out to about 600. So, and it wasn't even that it was, Iowa could run the ball consistently, but it was also that their lumpy white quarterback ran for 150 of that. And that's 130, excuse me. I apologize. I regret the error. He only averaged 14.4 yards per carry.
Julian Sain is not lumpy. He is lean.
That is true. Yes. I think for 3 points, this feels generous.
Thank you.
This feels like a 2-pointer. So I feel like we need to remove.
Can I touch on something real quick? Last week I tried to go 220, and you're like,
I know.
No, I'd rather go 170, 340, and then after we took the finger off the checker, you're like, maybe I should have done 220.
Yes, was that for 3 points? I don't think it was.
Yes, it was.
Was it?
Yes.
Well, that was
So.
Yes, but the first run of 34 or 51 yards exactly does not count. Exactly 34, okay. Exactly 51.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Oh, man. And 34 yards is a run that happens.
It is. And with the universe having the proper sense of humor, it is a run that will happen. Yes, agreed.
Now, if there is then a second run of the other number, both numbers, both runs count.
But then if there's a third run,
correct, of course, yes,
all of them get wiped out. Yes, yeah, that's fine. That's fair.
All right, will not count, but yeah, we'll figure it out at the time. Yeah, okay. Let's please move on.
All right, so mine much more straightforward. Do you know how many passing plays of 50+ yards Ohio State has had this season?
2? One. Just the one, the 83
Just
yarder.
the one, the
87,
long one
87.
to Jeremiah Smith. Do you know how many passing plays of 50 yards Penn State has allowed this year?
1.
None.
Okay.
Guess how many they're going to allow on Saturday for
3
points?
3
points is exact. Hey, look, you got it correct. Good for you. 3 for 3 points. Yes.
Well, I had to say that before you did because you're going to try to go with 2. So 3.
No. I have 3 written. I have 3 written down. If you said 2, I was not going to fight you on it because listen, this is not. I don't enjoy arguing with you. I only do it when it's absolutely necessary. But they're going to have 3 on Saturday.
Okay, we'll allow that. They only have the Buckeyes right now. I think have 4 rushes of 20 yards this season.
Mm-hmm.
Now this time last year they only had 10, and so it was just interesting. Like things have not been great. That's just a total aside. So overall, the explosives have not been there. 3 receptions of 50 yards. Generally, when I throw that out there, it's a 1-pointer. But for 3, that's fine.
Can you think of the last time you threw that out as a 1-pointer?
Well, I mean, it's like I don't keep track of anything. I know where everything is, but I don't have a spot for it. I can just reach for it on my desk.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Okay, all right, good job, all of us. Now, bonus, I have not thought about this much. I will say there will be at least 1 tackle for no gain in this game.
Ooh. Exactly no gain or
exactly
no gain. Oh boy, that's dicey. All right. That's fine. But remember, if you do not get it, that does not happen. I get to have you run around in the field and launch water balloons at you. And I will remind you, it is quite cold outside. So there you go. Mine, Tony, Penn State either runs or throws or both for at least 17 yards on the day. At least a rushing total of 17 or more yards, a passing total of 17 or more yards, or possibly both.
It's a good thing that you did the either or here.
You never know. You never know.
So, all right, we'll accept that. Now this really gives the fans a rooting interest to see this Ohio State defense stifle this Penn State offense and it really, really have some harbored interest in this game. So good job on your part there, Tom, to throw that bonus in there to get people interested in this game. Overall, I think it's done. So
the most important part of the show when it's done.
So there you go. Again, I was looking at the comments from like our last YouTube video, maybe like Wednesday night. And I think the response was, "Where's the bold predictions?" And it's like, oh, okay, the one person that
it's on Thursday where it always is.
And so here you go. Congratulations. You've got your bold predictions and you can keep score at home as I know that you do. I remember, Tom, I assume a lot of people do this with this show. Back in the 90s, when the March Madness bracket would come out, you'd go get the USA Today. You'd put the bracket on the fridge. And you just, fill it in as the games went on. I assume the same thing happens now. The cool thing, Tom, though, is you also have smart fridges where they've got the tablets on the door. You can probably just follow along like that. I can even send them the Google Doc. If you want, if you've got a fridge, you've got a smart fridge, you want to keep track of this, I will send you the Google Doc with the bold predictions so that you can follow along if you haven't already written them down. So thank you all for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. We'd appreciate it. And, of course, you can continue to find us at BuckeyeHuddle.com. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will talk to you all later.